You're listening to RTI Audio, powered by Rocky Top Insider. This is Pancakes and Bacon with VFL, Kyler Kervison, and Reed Bacon.
Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Pancakes and Bacon. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kervison, joined with Reed Bacon. Have a fantastic one. Vols are 4-0. Doesn't matter how you get there. You win the damn game. We're 4-0. Tough SEC environment that we were just playing in. We're going to go through offense. We're going to go through defense. We're going to go for our excitement of this entire team. But first, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you're listening, rate and review, download, re-download. I almost got you there. But now we can jump into it. Reed, how are we doing, bud?
Come on!
Come on!
Kyler.
Reed.
Man, dude, I don't know why. I do not know why. And I was sitting there. So you and I did talk yesterday briefly. We try not to talk before or after. We actually talked a little bit after church today as well, which I try not to do.
Yes.
But I woke up yesterday and I'm watching game day, and I'm seeing all the Boomer Sooner stuff. I get it. It's at Oklahoma. I get it. But I'm seeing all this stuff, and I'm having these flashbacks of – because I didn't watch the 2014 Oklahoma game, besides getting to the one play where you chase Buddy down, or you try to chase him down. But then I really did legitimately watch the 2015 one this week. I watched it this week. I was putting installments out. And first off, I say it is so awesome to go back and watch you. It's just so much fun because, like, obviously when I was watching you, I'm watching you, and I know that one of my best buddies is out there playing left tackle, but now it's a whole different vibe. Long story short, I want to say it so you don't have to. Dude, you were absolutely, and we're going to get to more of it when we play Alabama and maybe even Florida. Maybe this year I just start sprinkling in some of those. But to watch you just dog walk some of these dudes and just play well, it just, like, even now, 10 years later, I still just get so juiced and fired up. So, nobody – well, we'll talk about that another time. But anyways, kudos. I was gonna say nobody can come at you for not being very good, or like when we had a controversial tweet 2 years ago, the Georgia game, and people wanted to call you a walk-on and all this stuff. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. I'll still just get so mad about that. Anyways.
I appreciate you having me back there, buddy.
Yeah. So I woke up and I'm watching game day, and all of a sudden I'm walking through the house, and it's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And my heart starts pumping, and I'm juiced. I'm juiced. Like, Megan and her mom went. I was staying home doing yard work, mowing the yard. They went to go do a little shopping, as they're still, we're still getting crap for the house, carpet and rugs and all that. And I'm walking through the house, and I just get this jolt of, like, just juice and physicality. And I'm like, man, like, I'm ready to go. Like, I want to go.
I don't think you were the only one. I think a lot of Vol Nation was feeling the same way. Like, I always felt that when it was later games, and it was like a nice breeze in the air. It wasn't too hot outside. It nice little weather, and you're just like, oh, it's starting to feel like football weather. And that just gets those chills going, gets the juices flowing.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here acting like I need to be Jacoby Thomas and go clean somebody out. I just want to feel a pulling guard or meet someone in the A gap and just take a block on and feel the competition and feel the air. And I was hoping it. Well, I don't know if I should say I was hoping, but at some point as I got older, I'm thinking maybe this goes away. But I think I'm going to be damn 80 years old and be let me fill an A gap for you. Like,
put me on kickoff one time. I swear to God, I'm going to go there.
I swear. It's like I'm like looking up like senior citizen flag football leagues. But anyway, so
no, I get it. Literally, last time I was in Neal to watch a game, I literally like bent down and like felt the grass. Like I like put my hand on the grass and like felt the grass because I was like, I love this. I remember putting my hand in the grass. I didn't wear gloves, so I could always feel. I was like, I love the smell of the grass, the feel of it. I kind of got in a pseudo stance and just kind of like felt my feet sitting in there. I get it completely.
It's just, and it's, I was telling Megan this, these games, and you feel that, and, obviously I can't play now. I was never good enough to play professionally. I'm too old to play in college. So it's like, you can't go back, but you could potentially be a coach if you want to, try to go that avenue and work that. And I never allow myself now to be like, oh, I wish that was me. Because like you didn't choose to make the sacrifices that those guys do make. You didn't choose to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't choose to leave Memphis and then come and try to play at UT and put all that time and effort in. So when I was done, meaning I'm in college at UT, I was never catching myself like, go play for them. Because I worked for the UT football staff for a little bit when I quit playing for Memphis. So and they talked to me like I could have, potentially had just joined the team, but I was like, no, I'm done. So I never. And now I say it looking at these coaches, I'm like, bro, I don't put those sacrifices in. So temper these expectations. But when it's a 7:00 kick and I'm anxious, and I really thought about this, and I'm probably missing one game in there somewhere. But when this game was about to kick off, my heart was pumping. Wait for it. Like the Tennessee Titans versus Cincinnati Bengals game a couple years ago to go to the AFC Championship. That's crazy.
A playoff game?
That's crazy. And I'm telling you, because that day, that playoff game for the Titans, I remember exactly where I was sitting watching it. And the whole day I was like, this is it. Like my heart was just boom, 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 boom. And the crazy thing, we won a national championship in baseball. We had some March Madness games that were like intense. We've had the 2022 Bama and LSU and all that stuff. But like, it was weird, bro. Like my heart was pumping and almost an anxiousness that I haven't felt since that Titans game. And that was a playoff game.
You were just like all the other players. You just love Heupel so much. Fucking love that dude so much. You're just like, we got to win this one for him.
Honestly, I do really like him, but I really think it's a lot of that. What I was saying, like, I don't like OU. OU for me is a lot like the Notre Dame, the Ohio States, and the non-SEC schools until now that I felt were like overrated every year. And OU, like they came in and they won that game, and Bob Stoops was, SEC this, SEC that, strikers walking off the field talking his junk. Listen, they won the game, they can talk, but it still just infuriated me. And the year before that, Tennessee was not in a position to travel to Norman and compete with Oklahoma, but when you make a schedule 10 years out, you don't know what the heck's going to be going on. But I wanted to, like, they want to talk about their Heisman Trophy winners, and they could have had Heupel. They could have had Heupel and let him be offense coordinator. But the thing is like I don't really like Stoops. I feel like Stoops is he's a really good coach. He's a national championship coach. He did a great job there, but like I just feel like it's a little overdone with him for me.
He got a little like dictatorship-ish to like too much like I control everything. I'm the GM and head coach, and like almost to a fault.
Yeah, it's like in a way, it's like, and I'm very cautious when I say stuff like this, like move on, buddy, because if you want to be around it and do it until they throw dirt on you. So I don't like that, but it's like, you let Heupel go and that's fine. I never went back and looked at the stats to say, hey, were they right about letting Heupel go or whatever? But you let Heupel go, you bring in this hot shot Lincoln Riley. Bob Stoops didn't retire, man. Like they forced him out. That guy would have still be coaching. Don't tell me he didn't want to coach when he goes and coaches a AFL team or UFL team, whoever it was that he was coaching. He wanted to continue coaching, but they were like, hey man, like we're going to lose Lincoln Riley. So it's like, we're either going to fire you or you're going to step aside. Well, then they get Lincoln Riley and it's, oh, the offense is, offense that, offense is, offense. And it's like they lose a game to somebody they shouldn't lose a game to. And then when they get put in a big game, they get murdered. So it's like, I don't care about your offense. I don't care about your Heisman Trophy win. Like when it matters most, you guys lose 40-0. So I think that is where all that OU stuff. And I saw a sign yesterday, literally like a sign on game day. It's like, how many Heisman Trophy winners you got? It's like hey, sweet man, like you can take your Heisman trophies because one of the quarterbacks that we've had for us is better than anyone you've ever had, ever. So like you can say, whatever, Sam Bradford, Jalen Hurts, Baker, Kyler Murray, like any of those, great. Congratulations. We have Peyton Manning, and then I would put Hendon Hooker in a small dose with some of those dudes for a season. I mean, I really would. And he was playing better competition. But anyway, so that was one thing about it is like I was so happy to get that win. Kyler, number 2. What's the object of a game when you play it?
To win.
Right. Did Tennessee win last night?
Yeah, they did.
Were you ever nervous about losing the game, say, midway through the second quarter or starting in the third quarter?
No, we were up 19-3 in the third quarter at the start of the third quarter. Wasn't worried.
Okay. So my thing is about seeing this stuff about offense and that we let off because we couldn't score or we played scared or we played whatever or they figured us out and they had the better defense and they just had a terrible offense, shot themselves in the foot. I'm going to tell you right now, I disagree with all that. I'm going to tell you what you saw last night. As a Knoxville Catholic alum, not many people will understand this, but it's funny. Knoxville Catholic alum, you know what Heupel did last night? He did his best Mark Pemberton impression. As a Tennessee Titans fan, Josh Heupel did his best Mike Vrabel impression of we're going to pound the rock, we're going to play action you, we're going to lull you to sleep, we're going to control the line of scrimmage. Last night, Josh Heupel did, in my opinion, a early Nick Saban at Bama. We're going to control the line of scrimmage. We're going to play unbelievable defense, and we're going to beat you 9-6, 17-10.
Yeah.
And you know what else he did? He pulled a Bill Belichick, the greatest coach in NFL history, one of the greatest coaches to ever live. He would have Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski and Wes Welker, Julian Edelman and Anthony Hernandez and Randy Moss and whoever else. In 1 week, if he thought that he needed to throw it 55 times to beat you, he'd do it. And then the very next week, he'd run it 50, 60 times.
Yeah.
Because great coaches adapt to the game and they adapt to their players and to their scheme. And if you want to know, if any of you have any questions, and I'm going to tweet it out because I just now watched it. I'll be honest, I just watched it today. But go and watch his post-game interview on the Rocket Top Insider YouTube. Did you watch it?
I watched it.
Okay.
Yeah. He says it. He says, listen, the game dictated that we made adjustments and we played a little different style of football that maybe we haven't really played before, but that's what we needed to do to win the damn game. Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. And the thing is, I would almost be more frustrated if he tried to stay stepping on their throat because
high tempo, going fast. You get stuffed on first and second, and then you're 30 seconds out there on the field.
I would have been more mad if he had done that than what he did. Because that's the lack of him being one of these coaches that thinks like, oh, we're always going to do my scheme. My scheme works no matter what. We're always going to be who we are. It's like, hey, like all that sounds great, but the point of it is to win the game and for him to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to dial this back. We're going to win games a different way. Yeah. It made me fall more in love with him.
Yeah, honestly, it did. I died. And it's such a huge, like, I know he doesn't say it, but it obviously is. Like, people have emotions. Like, it's such a huge emotional moment for him being back there. First game back, first season where he lost his mom in May. Like, she wanted to see this game. Like, it's obviously important to him. And for him to have composure,
yes,
and to understand everything that's going on, to understand that his O-line is weak right now with guys out, and be like, listen, this is how we're going to win this ball game. This is how we're going to set up. Like, I'm going to lean on you, defense. Thank you for being here when I need you. And, like, I just love that. Like, I love the fact that a coach can be flexible and adjust and not have to, like, literally sit in the exact same thing he always does, because that has gotten us beat a lot in the past. A lot. So, yeah, I think that was the most impressive thing from this.
confidence is great, but an ego will get you killed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I couldn't be happier with what he did. I don't care if it was ugly to watch or not. I'm never not going to enjoy watching my defense and defensive line. Well, I'll say defense as a whole play one of the best performances I've seen out of a Tennessee defense in my lifetime. Like, you know what it is? So I'm going to give you my quote, and then I'm going to talk about defense, and then we'll start jumping into plays unless you have anything else.
No. Let's jump right into that.
All right.
I mean, great example of how, our previous coach, who was someone who could not adjust for anything, and kept a horrible quarterback in the game at all times. And then this coach that we have now, it's just like night and day. Like, it's incredible to have.
So, Kyler, we went on the road last night.
Show me that.
And there, we went on the road last night. A lot of people say we're going to walk in your trap, take over your trap. I don't know why OU feels the need, or what the reason that they call their field the Palace. The Palace. I saw that. And I was like, what the fuck's going on here? What are we doing?
Yeah, you are not royalty.
This is lame. Just name it. Ours is Shield Watkins Field. It's just because it's a donor's name. So we walked in your palace and took over your palace. We took that shit over. And you know what? We also took your your national championship winning coach. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know how brutal that would be if like Peyton Manning was the coach somewhere and just came here and beat us?
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, it'd be brutal. No, it would literally be like T. Martin becoming a head coach. Because he is a coach right now, like literally working his way up, becoming a head coach. We had him as an offensive coordinator at Tennessee and let him go.
True.
And then him becoming a head coach, coming back and beating us. That's what it would be.
Exactly. So defensively, here's the deal, Kyler.
Tell me the deal.
Defense, everyone wants to talk about dominant defense, and you see it. You see Tyree West getting in the backfield again for a sack. You see the defensive line resetting and getting push every play. Mm-hmm. You see Keenan Pili playing a beautiful, beautiful rollout and gets an absolutely perfect kill shot in today's football. You have all these things that, not giving up a touchdown for a really long time. Name all these different things that equates to great defense. I'm going to tell you what equates to great defense. When you have a backup co-starter at safety, and they just got one of their longest plays of the game, and he puts his foot in the ground, and he takes off on a pursuit angle drill, and when he gets there, with all of his energy and effort, he doesn't just shove him out. He murders him.
Lowers the boom.
He murders him.
From backside.
And this man is running full speed, and he murders him. And I need that sideline to get a lot more juice. The only thing I'm thinking is they're like, oh, we're about to get a flag here, is maybe the only reason they didn't crap their pants. Yeah. But not even other players on the field. I'm like, maybe Jacoby Thomas just does this and they know it's him. It was like they just
maybe he does it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, oh, there he is again. He just murdered a human. It's like I was sitting here and I literally yelled and jumped up. I was just like, I wasn't even jumping out of excitement. I jumped up like, I think I just witnessed a murder. Like, is that man okay?
Yeah.
And then I was like, just so juiced. It's like everyone on that sideline, I'm like, how did that not fire them up? If I'd been in Norman, they would have heard me from wherever I was. So that is winning football. You give up one of the biggest plays of the game, but your backside safety gets there and lays a devastating blow.
Yep.
Then the other thing that is winning defense, and I tweeted it out when I had a defensive coordinator or defensive coach, and I truly can't remember if it was Coach Corum at Catholic or someone before him at Catholic, or was it? I don't think it was my guy at Memphis, but it was like, I think it might have actually been Coach Corum. Was it like look at a change of pace, a bummer of, we just turned the ball over, pick, fumble, got stopped on fourth down, a real sudden change. Your back's up against it. They get great field position. Don't look at that as like, woe is me, like, oh, dang it, this stinks. Like, look at that as an opportunity. And as cliche and corny as it sounds, that registered with me. And I always kept that along with me. I was the loser who was 25 or 26 years old in Nashville on my flag football team. We were great, won the championship. Don't want to talk about it, but I can show you the shirt. But like, I would be the one that would be like in Nashville on a Tuesday night. Like I said, we were really good, but there were other really good teams. It's like if we had a pick or a turnover and downs, I'm like, hey, like they're 3 feet from here. Defend every blade of grass. Like, this is an opportunity. Let's go make a play. And I'm thinking that last night, and the very next play, they run it, and you get – it's in my notes, but I forget who got the push, and then you get Joshua Joseph, who's not just jumping on a pile.
Yeah.
He's playing to the whistle and rips that thing out. And thank you to that ref for staying and doing his job and paying attention till the play was over as Jake Arnold was on his tight end and ripped that out. That is elite winning defense, is when you do not get bummed out about the situation and you say, I don't care if our defense gave it up on the inch line. We are playing until we can't play anymore. And
there's nothing easy. There's nothing easy here. How many times they're 2 touchdowns in the second half? How many times did they actually have to fucking score in order to score? I mean, it was wild. Him trying to get into the end zone, doesn't get it. They try and go for it again, does it, then finally gets it on second down and play action. Him diving over, doesn't get it. So now they have to come back out. They bring out their Arnold again, then they run the ball, then they finally get it. It is a defense that's not going to give you anything easy, that's going to push you to the extent of what you can do, and it's going to be violent the entire time. I mean, all the way back from 22, we would play these teams, and it happened last year. I think we didn't quite have the amount of talent we needed last year, but these defenses under Tim Banks have always been very violent. We're hitting you. We're making you feel it. How many of those, the Kentucky game versus Will Levis, where Slaughter's just laying Buddy out on the slant. The Florida game where Jeremy Banks is coming on the blitz and putting a hurting on Anthony Richardson. The just hits after hits. And then we get into this game, Jacoby Thomas takes a guy out. Then Keenan Pili takes a guy out. Then another guy comes limping off. Like in that drive that like with Jacoby, he made that big hit. I think there was like 3 or 4 guys who were like limping off the field or like, I got to get out of here because of the violence and the physicality that's happening up front. I mean, we talk about it on the D line all the time. To dominate an offensive line like that, you got to be violent. I mean, Moy getting into the backfield, literally pushing a center back 4 yards with one hand and then making a freaking tackle while the ball carrier gets the ball handed to him. Like, that's ridiculous. You don't see that. That's not a usual typical thing. And this guy is technically our second string or third string defensive tackle. And he's doing shit like that. It's like incredible.
I thought Chris Fowler and Kirk, which I always like them, but I thought they made a great point as, towards the end of the game. And Kirk's like, listen, like this team is still playing hungry. They're out here competing and playing so hard and so physical. And the game is basically kind of in hand, which is a tough time to continue keeping it up. Jackson.
They wanted to keep that. They wanted to keep that no touchdowns.
Yeah, and Jackson, like you said, he's in there. It's like you haven't seen him all game. It's like, oh, guess what? He's in now. And I know he had played before that, but he's fresh. It's fourth quarter. Jason Jenkins on the safety that we'll talk about. It's like I tweeted out, he's like our 12th D lineman.
Yeah.
That you would name. You would probably name 11 people before him.
Yeah, and he makes a little twist. He makes a little twist inside. Gets into the backfield, confuses the offensive line, is able to wrap up and make a great tackle. And then shout out Bryson Easton, just like a little bit of holding that guy's head and arms from reaching out across the line, and we get a safety. I mean, there's not enough good things like I can say about this defense. And, before we went into it and I talked about like keys to the game, I was like, hey, backside defensive ends, guys on the line of scrimmage, they're going to have to hold tight, right? They're going to have to keep good eyes because there's going to be the pulls, right, from the quarterback. There's going to be those times where you got to play your man. And then I said, in the motions, the stars and the safeties, and being able to see those things. I mean, there were a lot of plays that Tim Banks drew up where he goes, you know what, I'm going to send my guy off the edge, but I'm going to have somebody behind him, and then he can just go. He doesn't have to worry about reading. He doesn't have to worry. He knows he has running back, and he makes the tackle. Keenan did it. Joshua Josephs did it. Tyree West did it. And then with the stars and the safeties, I think there were times where, like, on those motions, they kind of got outran. I think some of them were like, you used to the Kent State and NC State and Chattanooga speed and not necessarily the Oklahoma speed. And it was like they were so close. They were almost there to getting that tackle in the backfield. How many did you see it at Turrentine, of Boo, of Jacoby, where it's like, oh, they're tracking. They can make this tackle. They barely miss. The guy gets upfield and he's able to get, 10, 12 yards.
I felt like that happened a little bit in that second quarter, which I understood what Oklahoma was trying to do. Hey, we can't go right at them. We got to go left, right, get some eye discipline here.
Can't get back to, and I don't understand.
Well, I think I still – it sounds bad because you're saying that, but I know what you're talking about. As a whole, this back seven – they made me feel so much better after watching this game, strictly because of the speed that Oklahoma has, and we haven't seen them. And I thought, like, multiple times, like, I know Boo's fast. Christian Harrison is much quicker and faster as an athlete, just athletic ability than I expected him to be. I've been very impressed with him. Jamon McCoy, Ricky, like, all these dudes are playing fast, and, like, our safeties, I'm fine with that. Yes, there were – and I think that sometimes it looks that way, because there was one for sure where it looked like, oh, he didn't take a good angle and it's like on a handoff going. But I think Tim Banks was bringing them on a blitz. So it's like they're going on a blitz and then it's a handoff. So they kind of have to readjust. And when you're playing the run as an alley defender compared to, I'm going to blitz and then it's a handoff, those are two different – you play those two different ways. So I think a little bit on some of those could have been what you're talking about. But what I was going to say, I almost forgot. I thought about you multiple times. I thought those backside defensive ends stayed at home beautifully, and I have it marked down here. But on the Music City Miracle backwards pass that we got, Dominic Bailey made that play because of how he literally is. He's looking at Jackson Arnold. It was hilarious. It was almost like he was staring at him like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Like, make a play. And I don't know if people understand how difficult it can be sometimes for defenders when they are amped up and it's a big game and you want to make a play to take that extra second to really be disciplined in what you do. But I mean, if you look at it, I'm gonna draw this real quick. It was hilarious. So Jackson Arnold's here. This is all the offensive line. Our dang defense ends out here, and he's just hovering and waiting. The guy goes backside. He comes up, and he waits, and he's literally like basketball facing this way, but he turns and looks, and he's like, what are you going to do, Jackson? Like, you going to throw this? Because if you throw it, you got to get over my head. If you're going to run, it was hilarious. I mean, it looked like a whole basketball move, but he played it perfectly. And
I mean, to speak to that, dude, and I texted you and another buddy of ours in the first quarter, in the first half, and I said the difference between our quarterbacks is astronomical. The placement of the ball where it needs to be is crazy. Jackson Arnold had plays where guys were open or guys were open enough to get the ball, and he's missing them.
Yeah,
he's missing those plays and he's missing those throws, and he's not giving his guys good chances out on the edges, right? He's not leading them.
Lackadaisical with the ball.
Yeah, he's just not. And like, I honestly, genuinely think like this Hawkins kid who came in the second half, who's a freshman, I honestly think they're going to have a better shot in future games and going to have a better offense under him. And I think like OU is looking like people are looking at OU right now as like, oh, you guys are bad. Like you have a good defense, but you're a bad offense. I think that'll start changing. Like I think they're going to whoop the shit out of Auburn next week, but then they got Texas in 2 weeks.
So
and that one's going to be a very big challenge because Texas is a very, very good team. But I think it's just like I think they're going to look. This win is going to look better for us moving forward.
I was impressed with some of their defense, and we'll talk about that when we get to our offense.
Yeah.
But man, life comes at you fast, bro. Jackson Arnold's the up and coming big deal. I can't believe, and I don't know what publication they were showing last night, but to show that he was that more highly touted than Nico. I mean, saying he was like,
I don't know where that was from.
It was like a number 2 or 3 compared to like a 20th overall player. And he was the number 1 dual threat and number 2 dual threat. And Nico was like the number 4 pocket passer. And I'm sitting here thinking, first off, I don't know what you people are looking at. They're doing these recruiting things. I didn't watch any of Jackson Arnold's highlights. The only thing I can think of is that he played in Texas compared to California. And maybe they thought that was a bigger deal for comparing those two. And something tells me he was just a running machine in high school. And it's like that sometimes that doesn't translate to this next level because you aren't like he's a good athlete for college. He is like he's still quick, decent size, but he could get away with probably a ton more stuff in high school than he can now. And it's like, well, how does your other stuff translate? Like Nico didn't lose accuracy or arm strength. You know what I mean? Nico didn't lose any composure. Like Jackson Arnold. Like, I mean, he's
freaking out.
Really
freaking out.
I mean, fumbles, not holding on to it.
I said it last week, dude, when he did the fucking surrender cobra. I said it last week. I said, that's not a good sign. That's not the quarterback that I want.
Yeah. I'm ready to jump into defensive plays if you are.
Yeah, I'm ready. And we can just go from the very start. And try and just run through it. First drive, Elijah just in the backfield, just wreaking havoc. I absolutely love to see it. I thought he had a really good game overall. I thought he did some good stuff getting into the backfield. We talked about it all week leading up to. Our DBs are going to get tested. Our DBs are going to get tested. This is the first time they're going to get tested. What's going to happen? We get a slant. On Christian Harris, and he's pressed up, and they get a pretty good gain, and it's like, okay, here you go. Like, now do you feel the difference, Christian, right? You feel the difference between these guys. This is the, first test that you felt all year. So, like, how do we respond? How do we go? And then to end the drive, the man up on 4th down, and the exchange between Christian Harris and Gerard McCoy on the 2 wide receivers was a beautiful thing to watch. And Gerard hit the wide receiver right when the ball's getting there. And it's just like, that's great. That's great coaching. That's great technique. That's great defense.
Let me tell you something. So first off, well, before I get to that part about the swap off, I thought it was funny because I thought that to start the game, Elijah, I just said foreshadowing. Like, this is what it's going to be all night. Set the tone. And that's what it was. It ended up being that all night.
I love putting Elijah in there first play. He's fresh, and nobody could stop that big boy.
I know.
There's no shot.
It is true. It's great to have him in there like first play because he's amped up probably and he's just feeling great.
350 pounds.
Yeah. The third manned up, like they ran double. We were manned up. They ran double slants. Like slants, very, very difficult to stop. Guess what? We ended up doing it later in the game, but like I'm fine with it. You manned up. Then you got Omar that was showing himself on the 3rd down, and then you got 4th and So, that fourth down, Tyree took a shot, bro. That guard, I mean, not the guard, that running back took a shot. I loved how Andre Turrentine played this. Don't get caught in no man's land. I hate that because then you take yourself out of the play. Matter of fact, when we talk about offense, Oklahoma on our Dante Thornton, they had 3 guys in no man's land. It makes me feel like in basketball, if you got a guy driving to the lane and you're going to foul him to where the shot does not go up.
Yeah.
So this is like Andre Turrentine could have been caught in no man's land. He's like, no, and this is maybe a coaching point to them. Like, hey, if it's a rollout, that's your guy. Come up and press him. Our corners are locked up man to man. Like, you got to go. And so I loved how he went up there and played it. I love that Jamal McCoy, as a young guy, meaning a college guy, I mean, because you see NFL guys do this all the time, he didn't get overly excited. He didn't get there early. He played through the body, which, like I said, you can't play through the body early, but he played through the whole body. He still got the hand around. And I think that it just shows very, very good disciplined play. Hey, I can't get around him, but I can't get there early. When the ball does hit, let me get my hand around, let me play through the body. Now, let me tell you this. Swapping off at DBs, that's not that hard. It's actually very easy. I'm telling you, we love doing that. So it's very easy because it's like, so say if I'm playing nickel and I'm playing, I'm inside slot / nickel and I'm playing the outside corner and I'm here, he's here, and then we got 2 stacks. You just say, hey, whoever comes inside's mine, whoever goes outside yours. So you're just waiting on them. It looks a lot cooler than it really is. It would be different if it looks a little bit cooler if it's man to man and it's like my guy goes out and my guy goes in. Now, this was in high school and in some starts of college. I don't know if you can really do it now because if you try to swap off, this inside guy might hit one of those slot shot seams. But a lot of times you can be like, hey, if they cross up, you just take, I'll take. And so you're kind of just waiting on them.
Yeah.
It looks cooler than it is. It's actually nice because you're just waiting on the other. Football's pretty easy. Like if there's an inside guy and he goes out, then outside guy, or I mean, if inside guy goes out, the outside guy's probably coming in. You know what I mean?
Can't go to the same spot.
Yeah, exactly. So continue on with defense.
So stopped him on 4th down, which is great. Next drive, Keenan does a great job. He realizes a quarterback draw and just goes, just absolutely attacks, gets into the backfield. Tyree, this is just speed off the ball. He's already way upfield before that pulling tight end can get to him, and it's a sack. And then just keep everything in front of you. And now you force a 3rd and long, keep everything in front of you, make a play before he gets the 1st down marker, make him punt.
Nice. Yep. Only thing I have to add. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's just good defense. Every time one of these drives in, I'm just gonna be like, that's good defense. Like it really is.
Only thing I have to add is Boo had a nice hit, low tackle on that tight end, and I don't think you can play the quarterback draw any better than KP played it because they had the running back coming up as a lead blocker, and he took him on and still made the tackle. Like it couldn't have been played any better. So I was impressed.
Killing it. Next thing out, they tried a little screen off to the side. Dominique Bailey retrace. Makes a tackle. I thought a lot of our D linemen did a great job of retracing when they were trying to get outside stuff. Like Amari even had one earlier. I think Omar ends up having one.
Omar had one on a quick screen.
Yeah. The sweep option, it was blocked well. Blocked well on the edge. They were able to get some yards out of it. Let's see.
There's a pick by McCoy.
Oh yeah, and then this is the pick by McCoy. The play was set up for that crosser. The play is set up. Hey, this is the guy that's going to be open because all the action's going the other way. McCoy played it perfectly. Just waited, baited him. Arnold never looked at anybody else. That's where he was going with the ball. He thought he had a wide open throw. And just savviness. So it's like I go into the game thinking DBs are going to be tested for the first time. I got McCoy, who's already made some plays for us this year. He makes a 4th down stop. The next drive, he baits the quarterback into an interception. I'm like, do we have a freaking dude here? Few drives later, he's just sprinting down the sideline with the wide receiver at his hip, just like, there's no chance you're catching this ball. I'm right here with you. He is looking like the dude for us in the back end.
So far, he's looked awesome. I wrote it was a nice play on the end around on the sweep, and the only thing that I took from that, besides nice play by them and it blocked well, I think that was like the time I was like, dude, AC, Arian Carter has got some absolute wills. Yeah. Absolute wills. And him, another year in a program and being healthy, the difference, I mean, our linebacker play so far, and I'm just thinking about this game last night. I'm not thinking about any of that other garbage with the competition we were playing. But, bro, you got old man Thumper in there, and you got AC with his speed, and then you got baby Thumper.
I think Aaron's getting better every game, dude.
I do too.
Every game, I think he's getting better. Like, even like at the end on that yes. 2-point play where he was like, you know what's not going to fucking happen? You're not going to run again. I'm not letting you do that again, because he had just been doing it over and over. Drop back, then take off. Drop back, then take off. Arian had been there late when he like almost scored the touchdown before, and it was like 2-point play. Arian drops first, help in zone, and goes, no, I'm not letting that happen again. Takes off. He's impressed me more and more as the season's gone on.
I completely agree. That's why I wrote it down. I was just like, the dude plays sideline to sideline ball. And to be able to have him and KP as that nice duo, but then Baby Thumper, which is T-Lander, it's like he's just not as big as KP, but it's like they played the exact same way. I mean, even on a quarterback draw later in the game that I wrote down, T-Lander did exactly what KP did. He just didn't make the tackle, but he blasted the running back.
Blasted the running back.
Yeah, and so it's like so anyways, I love to see Arian Carter playing sideline to sideline. Here's the deal. Kirk Herbstreit talked about that pick, and I'm not a quarterback, never played quarterback, so sometimes I feel and I see something because I paused it. It looked like Jackson Arnold could have hit the post.
Yeah.
You fit it over. I think it was Will Brooks that was up, and he was dropping back, and then it was the backside corner, so it could have been Ricky Gibson that was in the back third based on how the defense was. And it's like I felt like there was a pretty big window there that he catches that, and it's not going to probably score a tutty, but like he can throw it to where it's a pretty easy completion and he doesn't get his guy murdered. Yeah. Unless now if he leads him, then Ricky has a chance to pick it or take a kill shot, but it's probably a flag. But back to Jamal McCoy, and Kirk talked about it a lot, and I liked that they showed the back angle. What I've seen a lot, what I had to break myself from doing a lot, and a lot of younger players will do, we sit there and think we're in zone coverage, and if we can't see anyone directly in our areas, then we want to turn our eyes to the quarterback, which some coaches are fine with, as long as you're also seeing what else is coming back into your area and having the cerebralness of it. But what happens is sometimes when we get our eyes caught in the backfield, we don't get our depth. Yeah. And it's really difficult on linebackers. A lot of time linebackers will get even in not even play action, but just a set height go, and they start dropping back, but they'll drop back 3 or 4 yards. It's like, no, the way that they tack the middle of the field in these seams now, you got to get back 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 yards, and you got to basically run with the guy until you find him. That's what I liked about Jamad, because he could have easily stayed. And there was in the Florida game that you and Jack and I went to a couple years ago when Anthony Richardson was in there, there was an exact play just like this, and they threw it, and it went right over maybe Kamal's hand or Warren Burrell's hand, and it was like it's literally the exact same play, and they completed it to Pearsall on a deep shot because our corner just had his eyes in the backfield and didn't get enough depth. And the thing about it is like it's about being smart. And it's like if there's nothing up in front of you, get a little ground. You know what I mean? So that's what I was more impressed with than than maybe even the baiting of the throw was just that he just didn't get caught in his zone. He got his depth.
Yeah, kept going. So interception there. This next drive, this is the Jacoby hit down the sideline, the second play. This is where we start seeing those motion sweeps getting to the edges. And I said, like, Turrentine misses that, which, like you said, it could have been some kind of blitz setup, trying to change his angle a little bit. Let's see. They had another good run.
I'm just going to keep letting you go through the whole defensive series, and then I'll jump on the back end.
Yeah, I had a hat on a hat. They had a good run. I think need to get plays in sooner. Just overall, I thought like there was once they like put the camera on Tim Banks, and he like took the other guy's headset. He's like, "This is the play. Like, run it." You know what I mean? Like, I think there's some of that where Tim Banks is like, "Why in the hell is this so damn complicated? Like, give them the play." So maybe something a little sooner. They're quick hitches under zone, never have like I'm like, okay, dude, whatever. Okay, that's it, right? We ran zone, you did a 5-yard hitch. That's fine. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Called a PI on Ricky. I mean, I guess you could have. I wouldn't in the first 2 yards from the line of scrimmage in a little bit of a hand battle. And it's like a little slant inside. And they call it on them. They've got a play action pass. Arnold misses the dig across the middle. And I think that's when I texted you. It's just like, it's so different. It's so different. Our quarterback versus their quarterback and how he can hit those guys. And then I have like my next thing, man coverage, and then just off to the side, 3 players have left the field. It's like 3 different players on this drive have left the field because they are absolutely dying out there. And then just a combination of Elijah and Keenan bowing up on 3rd and 1 when it really matters, just stuffing the running back.
I think Jacoby Thomas did a really good job there coming off that edge. I replayed it a couple of times. I thought that he got a little ankle bite in there, which I always appreciate. I've seen so many ankle bites coming off the edge that stop plays before they get going in the NFL. When we had Derrick Henry with the Titans, and so I liked what Jacoby did there. So for me on that drive, on the play that Jacoby had the massive hit, I thought Boo disengaged really well. I was very impressed with Boo and Christian Harrison that they do a great job of either not getting blocked at all, like not letting the blocker touch them, or they disengage really quickly, which I love to see. A couple plays later, it's like, Jacoby, I know what you can do when you hit. Like, you came up and laid a thump on a big tight end. Just wrap up. Like, don't give me this best hit I've seen in 10 years, and then that. I thought it was a little tick-tacky on the Ricky. I really did, whether it was Tennessee or OU. I would have said, hey, within a couple yards. I thought that was a little tick-tacky. The overthrow that you were talking about, Ricky was hip pocket right on him. So great coverage on a deep over. And then I have nice coverage by Boo because they did another slant, but it was just good catch and throw. I mean, Boo's on great coverage. You can't come through the body. You don't want to get a penalty. And then, like I said, on the 3rd one, you mentioned Elijah and KP. I just thought Jacoby Thomas did a good job coming around as well.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Next one, we've got play action pass to start. He finds a guy open in between zones. Then this, I thought it was great. They sent a man off the edge. Yeah. He plays the read option. Perfect.
It was Christian Harrison.
Yeah, he goes to the running back. He has help from behind who's going to pick up the quarterback. I'm like, that's what we need. That's it right there. Another bad pass by Arnold in the flat. Like, Buddy was open enough. And then this is where I was talking about earlier with McCoy. He is pressed man on this receiver, and he runs a 9 route, and he stays with him in his hip pocket the entire time. This is their shot play on third down, and there ain't a shot in the world they're going to complete this.
It's just the difference in winning and losing the game. Good teams, great teams, good teams, average teams. It's like we had our shots down the field, and Brew caught the one that was over top. Dante caught his deep post. His post. And it's like Jackson Arnold doesn't even give him a damn catchable ball, but our corner is in the hip pocket. So that's the difference between winning and losing. The only other thing I have there was Christian Harrison. That's when I was like, dang, Buddy is more athletic than I thought, because he came shooting up and he made a hell of a tackle, and he was flying. I'm shocked we haven't heard one of these announcers. I really would have thought that Kirk and Reese, or Kirk and Chris Fowler with our 2 primetime games, would have talked about him being Rodney Harrison's son.
Yeah.
At least mention it once. I hate when they overdo it.
Yes, I agree.
With stuff, but it's like they haven't even mentioned it one time. Yeah. So continue.
Next time out there is one play, Joshua Joseph's causing the fumble on Max Arnold after we fumbled. Just we talked about it already, defense bailing us out. Next drive after that is the safety drive. So this is like in succession is a ripped out ball, fumble. Next drive, false start caused, which you tweeted out, which is doing great numbies. 6 dudes up on the line of scrimmage. Jenkins, games inside, gets the safety. Then next drive, 3 and out, 3 beautiful plays by our guys. Then the drive after that, backwards pass, fumble. So it was like 4 drives in a row with 5 total plays that our defense just absolutely was like suffocating on Oklahoma. And there was nothing they could do.
It's just winning football. It's a 3-phase game. You get the nice push by Omari and Dominic Bailey on the strip where JJ strips it. But then you get some good, offensively, like you flip the field. We're so used to Tennessee. It's like, oh my gosh, we didn't score in 30 seconds. It's like, hey, like this isn't Kent State.
We pinned them deep, baby.
It's like, hey, this is I just might be conditioned to it as a Titans fan. It's like, hey, get a couple good runs in here, get it out of get our backs off the goal line. Great punt. We completely flipped field, and then it led to points.
Yep.
And it's like, that is winning football. That's winning football.
Exactly. Complimentary football. Let's see. Next drive, they run a screen inside. Christian Harrison does a very good job of keeping the edge. Mm-hmm. He says, you're not going to get outside of me. You're going to have to cut back inside and go to my guys. I thought they did a great job of that throughout the game, playing complimentary, where it's like, I know that a guy is behind me. I know that there is someone there to back me up. I know I need to just do my job, and there will be someone else there. This was Keenan had a perfect hit on the quarterback on his rollout, just right underneath the arm, right when he's letting go of the ball. Just giving violence and staying within the rules of the games. I love it.
He was at that. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was about to skip to the next play, and James Pierce misses a sack, and Arnold just throws a bad ball. Like, he just misses his receiver.
Did you see who tipped it?
High and behind. No.
Aaron Carter tipped it.
Okay.
And that's why it still hit the guy's hands, but I can promise you, I've said it a million times on this pod, when a guy tips it in front of you, or even if they go up and just do this number and completely miss it, it still comes. Those and when you are naked open are the 2 hardest catches. If no one's around you, it's a hard catch. And then if it gets like tipped or like goes through someone's hands right in front of you, because it seems like it gets there quicker. But I thought Jamal McCoy disguised really well. I liked his point of attack. And then Christian Charles played it really well. So once again, it was like they threw the little bubble out route. And I love how Jamal McCoy came up, like you said, set the edge. But I thought Christian Charles, another guy that we haven't mentioned yet this year, he's in there and he's doing a really good job. The thing about the KP hit, he didn't get lost in no man's land. Once again, he's like running out. He sees it and he's like, listen, if he's going to run, I'm going to beat him to a point. Or if he's trying to throw this, he's going to eat it. Meaning like I'm either going to force a throw or he's going to pay for a completion. And then the third and 12 you already mentioned is it was just a nice play to keep playing by Aaron Carter to tip it, not let them get that because that would have been a hell of a completion for Jackson Arnold to get out of that and dip.
Yeah, it would have been big. It would have been big. Next drive is backwards pass, one play after a turnover. So we get that. Next one is now new guy.
Kyler. I've already talked to my point about how I love Dominic Bailey staying at home and how he played it, but I do have to give a shout out to Keenan Peely, Christian Harrison, Jacoby Thomas, and Ricky. Because they all played to the whistle. They could have just sat there and let it die, but they played to the whistle.
Yep. Kept going. And then the new quarterback comes in. They have a bad snap right off the rip. They try a quarterback draw. This where T-Lander lays out the running back. Lets his guys make up for it. Blitz spot with Pierce off the edge, unblocked, and he misses the sack. I don't get it. I mean, we're gonna keep talking about it until it happens, and it'll probably just show up. It'll probably just show up when we play Alabama and Georgia, and it'll be like, oh, there it is. But like, I know he has to be frustrated too.
Yeah, I don't get as worried about the sack numbers.
Fault him. I can't say that people don't miss those kinds of things or like it's not a difficult play, but first round picks make difficult plays.
Yeah, no, I think I don't want to get caught up in sacks. Like I said, as long as there's pressure, quarterback hits, he's affecting plays, the sacks will come. But that play is just such a difficult one as a defensive end coming off the edge, as a nickel blitzing, a corner blitzing. That's one of the hardest things, and it's actually one of my keys to the game when we play Alabama. Because that Alabama game is you're going to have to make Jalen Milroe beat you. And if Tim Banks wants to heat him up, if you heat him up, you better play it. I'm not going to say conservative, but I don't want my guys going in there a million miles an hour thinking they're going to get a kill shot on them and letting him just go left and right and create alleyways. So I was already thinking last night, because if JP comes off that line, JP is not used to anyone really being more athletic than him. I get it. There's other faster people. He plays outside linebacker. So that quarterback was very, very shifty and quick. And like I said, when you're running to a point and then someone just dips out, listen, man, as having to do that in high school coming off the edge, I mean, there could be slow, big, heavy-footed fatties at quarterback and all. It's just an angles thing, and you have all your momentum's going one way. They just sidestep it. So that one doesn't bother me as maybe that he should have gotten the one where Jackson Arnold stepped up in the pocket, like finish that one. Don't let that sack go away.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny that I was already thinking about Milroe. It's like, I want Milroe to stay in the pocket when we play them.
Yeah.
Oh, other thing you didn't mention, Squirrel. Let that punt go, bro. It's right before half. It's right before half. Don't chase that, because if you hit that and not, then that's an easy touchdown or 3 points for them. Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah. That was pretty nerve-wracking. Okay, halftime. That's halftime. We're already at 58 minutes on the podcast. I love it. Let's see. I put down Team D. Pierce takes the quarterback. Harrison gets the running back. So, just trusting that, hey, the guy behind me, he's got what he needs. I'm gonna take care of what I got.
Yep.
Good coverage, quarterback contain, throw away. Just team defense. Tunnel screen, and this is another Omar retrace. They try a tunnel screen on 3rd and long. Omar retraces after rushing for a couple steps and makes the tackle.
This is I have that, and for me, the only other thing I have is Christian Harrison again. Dude, I watched it. He set the blocker came up, kind of stalked him for a second, like didn't even engage him. They threw one of those bubble ones out. Now, you got to be careful, Christian. What do the coaches always say? If you go inside, you better. If you take a gamble, you better.
I don't know. What are you about to say?
Maybe not. For a defensive lineman, they probably never told you that. And then you played offense. If you go inside or you take a gamble, you better make the play. And he went inside, but he made the play, and it was a beautiful hit and tackle.
Yes. Let's see. Next drive. Accidental face mask. Joshua Josephs. I mean, it was still like everything set up great. Everybody had good pressure. Everyone's coverage good. And then it's just like accidental, gets a first down. Let's see. Keenan plays his role really well. Gets the running back. He's got help behind. He knows that as an in-man on line of scrimmage. Tyree plays his role really well. Gets the running back. He's got help behind. It's like, hey, I know what this defense is. I know where everybody else is at. I know what I can get away with and what I can do. It makes a huge difference in how fast you can play out there on the field. So love to see it. I think that was 3rd. So they punted. Next drive, found a slant between the zones, which is fine. This is the Moy, the one arm with the center and the tackle for loss. Just absolutely body bagging, buddy.
I liked his swag last night too, and I love when they cut away to like go to commercial, and it showed him doing like the like doing his like sack or tackle celebration.
Yeah,
hard.
They get to now they're in 2nd long with the tackle for loss. The guys, the linebackers walk up, causes confusion on the offensive line. Who do I pick up? Who do I get? Who doesn't get picked up is Omar. Runs scot-free. No one touches him. No one blocks him. And it's a sack. And then quarterback draw on 3rd, just trying to get whatever they could.
I'm watching right now, actually, the 3rd and 4, where we played the read option so perfectly. That sucks to be that running back, and you see Tyree West coming full speed ahead at you.
Full speed.
And I'm going to tell you what, I like that play call with the new quarterback in. It's 3rd and 4. Like, let's try to get somebody out there. I get what Oklahoma was doing there, but it's just not going to end well when you got Andre Turrentine and Tyree West sitting there playing perfectly, and then you still got KP and Arian at linebacker just sitting there waiting. I mean, it's just like, golly, that's textbook defense.
Yeah. I'm going to try and go through this a little bit faster.
Go ahead.
We still got offense.
By the way, I'm done on defense. Like, I don't have any more notes, so whatever you want to go with.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any more, like, things I want to take, like, call out for. While
you're looking there, I just, as the game was in hand, and I've already mentioned, Kirk Herbstreit mentioned it. They played really, really, they were still playing hard, gave up some garbage time touchdowns. Those don't mean anything to me. I mean, I like that the streak was going, and I like that they were playing hard to not give anything up, but like, I'm not worried about it. And it just became a damn Wildcat fest with him back there running around like a chicken with his head cut off. And you already made comments like, I still thought guys were triggering well and playing good defense.
Yep. I think that's about it. So, offense. Now, I put handcuffed offense.
Yeah, Kyler. I don't know why you put that there, my friend.
I put that there because there was some obvious play by the offensive line that did handcuff what this offense could do. and what Josh Heupel was willing to risk to do. What has been something I have said the entire season. If Nico is playing, don't play Larry Johnson. We had to play Larry Johnson for a whole half of football. So there's not much you can do there. All right. You got to just figure it the hell out at that point. So that's why I put the handcuffed. Dane Davis also didn't quite have his best game. It's a little bit different versus SEC opponent away on the road in a big environment in your 9th start that you've ever had. And I think some jitters were getting to him. I think he was overthinking some stuff. And, something I said before the game started last week, and I said, what we need to be prepared for is I don't think their DBs are that good, which they did a very good job of running up and making a tackle on Dylan Sampson or Deshaun Bishop after they had to maneuver through some traffic. Good job. But actually covering wide receivers, I don't think they were that good. I really don't. In the times that they're in man and we are pushing the ball down the field, they got exposed. So I still think that's a true-ish statement. Now, there are a good amount of rollouts and play action passes where they stayed in their zones very well and stayed with crossing receivers and made it to where they were coverage sacks or coverage, Nico scrambles. That happened for sure. And then my other thing was these linebackers are just going to come. They're just going to go right up in the A gap. They don't, if they think it's slightly a run, they're just going to go. And what ended up happening is the safeties were following them. The safeties were doing the exact same thing the linebackers were doing and coming up, and it ends up with 1 second after the ball is snapped, it's a 9-man box. And that's very, very difficult to run into. And there was a lot of muddied water. We were trying to run these counters and these powers with pulling guys, and there was a lot of muddy water where our pullers weren't picking up anybody. They'd pull around and be in no man's land. Like you mentioned earlier with the DBs, don't be in no man's land. Do not be in no man's land as an offensive lineman. If you go through an entire play and you didn't block anybody, you did not do your fucking job. I don't care what you're trying to say. There was no one there. No. You didn't do your job. So there's a lot of no man's land on pullers coming around, not blocking anybody, running upfield, and then that person gets past them and makes the tackle on Dylan and on Sean. So that part was frustrating to watch. But I think what Heupel did, understanding the situation he's in, and what Nico was able to do when the defense gave him that opportunity was great. One thing that I noticed, and hey, what I always say, it's never as good as you think. It's never as bad as you think. After the game, I was like, God, we could not run the ball when we wanted to. We couldn't run the ball when we wanted to.
I disagree.
We could run the ball when we wanted to, because there was an 8-play drive where we ran the ball every play, and we scored a touchdown. And that's when we had to run the ball. That's when Larry Johnson was in the game, and we had to run the ball. Okay? We might not have ran the ball to start very well because of how much they were selling out for the run and how much they were bringing into the box. We really didn't even get to take advantage of it, how much they were bringing it in, until about the 8th play of the game. I'm telling you guys this so that you understand, the listeners out there. We were able to take advantage of them coming up on the run on the 8th play of the game. Now you'd say, Kyler, that's not very soon into the game. That's the 8th play. That's pretty good. We were already able to take advantage of someone for the 8th play was Dante Thornton's touchdown. okay? We ran the ball and did what we needed to do to set up our offense for 7 plays, okay? We got a 3 and out, and then we run a play, and then we're to Dante. Hey, we now know what you're doing, Oklahoma. We threw it outside to give you a little screen out on the edge. We want you to know that is still available. We're not just going to run the ball. We are going to continue to run the ball and try this. And you guys are coming up like crazy, making it really difficult for us. Now we're going to try a little play action. Let's see what that does to you. Now we're going to try a little hitch out to the side of it. Let's see what that does. Okay, you guys still want to try this? You safeties, you still want to as soon as the ball snaps, your first step is forward. You still want to do that? Are you sure? Okay, I'm going to send my guy in a post. Let's see if your corner can keep up. And he couldn't. And that was our first touchdown. So it's like everything that we're doing, we're all setting up for future things. Heupel is understanding what's going on. He knows Brett Venables like the back of his freaking hand. He was his defensive coordinator when he played at Oklahoma. Okay? He knows the guy. He knows what he wants to do. He's seeing all this pressure, all this jumping, all this coming up. He's like, all right, keep it up. And some of the big plays that we had later, it was, hey, I got 2 tight ends in the backfield. You think I'm running the ball, don't you? Nope, I got 8-man protection in it, and I'm hitting Brew down the sideline. It's just beautiful stuff, beautiful confusion by Heupel to the defense of you don't know where I'm going and what I'm doing, and you never will.
I think that's beautifully said. The one thing too, just to hit on the Dante touchdown, it's only a 2-play drive, but we complete and do a good job on first that we get into a tempo.
Yep.
And so you add that little bit of that wrinkle on that tempo, and it's like, okay, whoa, like they're getting going here. And I'll be honest with you, Kyler, and I opened up the pod talking about it. You just laid it out perfectly of how he controlled the game. He set stuff up. You got Larry Johnson in there. You want to pound the rock. You want to run it. And I say all that to say, like, I still think, in a way, Oklahoma was dictating on defense a little bit to us. I do. To start that game, that first little bit.
I do.
But as you said, Heupel's just sitting and waiting. Heupel's like a sniper. He's just like a sniper, bro. He's in the war. He's watching stuff happening. He's going left to right.
That's exactly why he didn't go for it on the first 4th down.
I know. And I agree with him not going for it. They went for it because they felt like they had to. He went for it because he said, it's not time yet. I don't feel like I need to. And I have the best defensive line in the entire country. So I'm good. Right. I'll play this game. But as I was saying, like, dude's a sniper. He's sitting there. He's watching. He's seeing his guys engaging from, a mile away. He wants to take a couple shots, but he's got to be careful. He doesn't want to dox his location. Then his main target comes out. It's over, and he got him. And it's like that's and so what you said is I completely agree with everything. And so I'm happy to start jumping into plays whenever.
Yeah. So as we
and by the way, what you said, the one time Heupel talked and didn't give his coach speak was in that post-game presser, and he openly admitted it several times that we kind of – and I love that he says this. It's like every game is its own game. It turns out different. And I love that they asked him about his defense too, and he said, every team takes on its own role. So it's like – and it's almost basically saying, like, I didn't come into this year – like, I knew we were going to be really good on D-line, but, like, I didn't know that I was going to play games small ball. Like it's what he was saying. And so every game's different. And so like you already mentioned, and we talked about earlier on, that like doesn't have an ego to feel like he has to just throw these massive bombs. And he's always said that our bread and butter is going to be a running game. But one thing he mentioned in there talking about that is that when they did some stuff differently on defense, it was like we couldn't get a hat on a hat. They were doing a good job of messing up our running lanes. And so, and you just explained that, why that was happening very, very well. And it was what Brent and that team, what I thought they would do. I legitimately thought, like, they're going to bring pressure. They're going to make Nico beat them. And Nico beat them twice. he beat him with the Dante Thornton touchdown and the brew, and that's all it needed.
Yeah, no, exactly. There's a couple ways that like that 3-man front can play against an offensive line, and one is like to kind of play the frog position is what I kind of call it. Is
I'm listening. I'm turning my light off.
You really just come off the ball and stab and kind of sit there at like your fore-eye and your noses. Like they just kind of sit where they're at with their, respective offensive linemen in front of them. And that kind of bogs down the pullers that are trying to come around, right? They're not sure how far they should be going, how much they should be coming around the side. Like it bogs up stuff. Or you can kind of play it with other guys behind and ahead where you cut, you pinch, you slant, you come across the faces. And with that can cause a little bit of confusion too. So he even said it in his presser, like, we were getting to understand what they were doing on defense. We were coming to understand what they were doing. And that's why later in the game, the runs started to kind of stack a little bit better. The defenders started to get tired, okay, and started to miss tackles that they made in the first quarter. Dylan Sampson started to make dudes miss where they were usually all amped up and they were ready to make a tackle in the first quarter. So it's just how you play it as a defense. And when I tell you this, I'm not lying.
It's what a run game does. It wears on you.
There were times where after the ball is snapped, before it is handed off, there are 9 men in the box. 9 out of 11 they pulled in the box. That's wild. You don't see that. That's not usual. Okay, so it did happen.
They really tried to disguise that, where they would keep their safeties high and then they would bring them down last minute. They bring a safety on this side and a nickel on this side, and they bring them down, or they would try to show Nico that real early and then back out. Yeah. So yeah, they were trying to dictate, and I get it. Listen, with the defensive scheme that they went with, I thought it was smart. I liked it. What?
I think it was great. I think they had a great defensive scheme. I think they did a very good job. I think this is a legit defense. I think it's one of the best defenses in the country.
I do too. And if our defense wasn't next level awesome and they didn't shoot themselves in the foot, which is half us, half them. I mean, the pick is us. The backwards throws us. The strips us. So I guess it was us making plays. But if there wasn't that many turnovers, if we don't make those turnovers, I mean, the way their defense played, it was good enough to keep them in the game for sure.
For sure. So yeah, just a lot of big boxes. Nico did a good job on that first drive, scrambling a little bit.
Yes.
Ends up, 8 men in the box again on third, ends up with a 4th down. We punt. This next drive, I put down, Dane misses on the pull. Like I saw Dane miss on a pull. I saw Larry miss on a pull. I saw Spraggs miss on a pull. I saw Stays miss on a pull. I saw Miles miss on a pull. So it ain't one dude. It's multiple dudes. And I don't want to blame coaching. And I don't necessarily want to blame the dude in all totality. But when you're pulling around, you should have an idea of who you're aiming for, who is going to be there, who is supposed to be there. Because I know as a puller what my center is doing that's next to me, what the other guard is doing that's over there, what the other tackle is doing, and what the tight end is doing. I know what they're doing. And I look over and I see where the defense is lined up. And I go, he's going to take him. He's going to take him. He's going to take him. It is a numbers thing. You need to understand that as an offensive lineman. You need to know what every other offensive lineman is doing. I don't care what position you play. Not just centers. Centers they're not the only ones who need to know everybody. If you're right tackle, I want you to know what everybody else is doing on that play because it helps you out. Okay? And pullers just seemed like they were getting around and not really knowing what to do. not really knowing who to go for. Should I get this outside guy that's coming off the edge? Should I get the safety that's coming down? Should I get the linebacker that's flowing over top? They just weren't sure. Okay. If I was a coach, I would say your most inside man. Okay.
Yeah.
Guy closest to the ball. That's who you need to go for. Guys on the outside, let the running back deal with, let him make a miss. We're going to get upfield and get yardage. Okay. When they're bringing 9 dudes, 8 dudes in the box, try and get as much yardage as you can. This isn't a, hey, we're going to get into a foot race going outside. It's not going to work that way.
There was a couple of them that were like that, where they're bringing the backside guard, backside tackle, and they're working up. And it's like they looked inside to take the inside man, and it was like, I don't know if they overran it, because then those linebackers were already underneath them. And I didn't know if that was because of the player, the scheme, or being unsure of, instead of coming around that corner and you catch them when they're not looking and you blast them, they were coming around that corner and it was like too late. So I'm happy like that you kind of explained that. Firstly, offensively for me for the plays, like it's 5 in the box on first down, and then it's 4 in the box. And he didn't run it. I wanted us to run it those first couple plays, because you got 5 in the box, 4 on the box, set the tone. I felt like that was a little tic-tac trying to go outside, but it's like, it's okay. It is what it is. It's whatever. But I wanted to see runs there. And then, I said Dane got crossed, hard to step out, didn't come up on the blitz, whatever. I love the punt. I don't know who 37 is. I need to look his number up. He got down there great, but he let the ball go into the end zone. That would have been a massive play to start it off.
That would have been huge.
Happy to see the run as I continue on offense. Happy now that we see the run. As you've already talked about, we had missed blocks. Dylan Sampson slips. Great block by Ethan. I mean, he got a penalty on it, but you love to see him drive the dude.
I'd rather say whoa than sick him.
Yeah, and so far, I've loved how all 3 of our tight ends have played: Holden, Ethan, and Miles, whether it's in the run game or the pass game.
I agree. They were huge later in the game on their out routes for Nico first downs. So shout out to them.
The next possession
on that touchdown, our play before the touchdown, we run a power, and the blocks are actually set up well. There's a hat on hat, and Bishop falls. That was a theme throughout the night. Guys are falling. I mean, Squirrel fell later on that return after the safety, which sucked, put us in bad position. I don't know what was up at that field. Let's see. Hit Brew on a post. That was it. That was it. So we took advantage of the defense with hitting Brew on the post. That was the 8th play of the game.
Okay. Well, let me say, and by the way, that takes me into that's the yak I wanted to see. That's some really nice yakage. Dante's was yak. He didn't have to run over anybody or juke anyone, but turn the burners on and go. So that's, to first off, so I'm talking here now. I don't know where you are, if I need to stop or whatever, but I'm on the play where we scored. I'm on the drive where we scored the touchdown.
Let's see.
For Dante.
Oh, just before that, we ended up getting close to the end zone with the Brew post to get down there. Nico throws a one-on-one ball to Brazel. I would have liked a jump ball. He kind of throws more of a laser, trying to fit it in there.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I didn't get that play. Was that like supposed to be back shoulder, but it wasn't back shoulder? I don't know.
I don't know. The placement just seemed odd to me because I feel like Nico can put it wherever he wants. So it's like,
hey, bro, that 25 is a nice looking corner. That boy's big and good built, and I thought he played that well. Yeah,
he's big. Because Brew was also open on a little slant on that play. So it was like kind of predetermined. Nico, hey, I'm going to give my guy a shot, but it's like you're not really giving him a shot with the way you threw it. Like Brazel's 6'5", like throw it up for him.
It's either got to be a jump ball or it's back shoulder, and it was in between. We're lucky it didn't get picked. So
ended up getting a field goal. Then this is the next drive. Squirrel gets 14 on 1st and 15 with just a little screen pass out to the side. That's what you were saying. It sets up what's to come, and then Dante hits the post and just outruns Buddy.
Well, we've already done what? This is our third possession, and we've run it. And so now we hit a play action bubble. So the bubble to squirrel is play action. We get our pace going. We get on the line. It's second and short. And it's like –
It's also after a penalty. It's also after a false start.
No, that's what I'm saying. False start, play action, get the squirrel. He gets up. You run, get up on the ball. It's like, oh, it's second and whatever. They're probably going to hand it off here, try to get 4, 5, 6 yards. No, we play action, and that's where the 3 dudes were in no man's land. And here's I'm gonna be quick on this. So bang.
What did you turn your light off for?
Because I didn't really like how it was looking, but now it kind of looks worse.
Can't see you, Bacon.
Hold on. I don't even know exactly how these people were, but they don't really matter. Okay.
They had the 5 guys in the box.
So it's hard to do it this way. So here's the play action. This is where they do the little mesh and play action, and then Nico's eyes are getting down this way. This guy, I think, was in man coverage to Dylan because he's sitting there in the gap. I mean, he has an alley or he has a hole if he wants to come through it, and he doesn't. So it's like usually when I play linebacker, the rule was, hey, if you're in man coverage and your guy doesn't come out, you can blitz. Well, he didn't. So now he's done. Our guy's blocking, and his ass is in no man's land. Well, then you had another backer here, and I think he had to be in man on the tight end, which is weird because the tight end blocked, and he was in no man's land. So you have 2 dudes in this area that are just nothing, and this is the safety that got affected on the play action, and Dante went right behind him. And that's where I was like, wow. And I know that Kirk Herbstreit mentioned and pointed out the safety getting held by the play action, but he didn't talk about the other 2 dudes. I don't know why they did not blitz and put pressure because it could have affected the play. I'm telling you, if you went back and watched and pause it, that linebacker had a nice juicy alleyway right to Nico, and he just stood there. So that's what happens when you get pace of play and you get play action. You don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
All of it. Next drive.
Whoa. Big thing I forgot to mention on that play was you've already, this is the one to Brew. No. Which one is this? This isn't this is the one before that. So let me go back. I just wanted to point something out on the play to, I guess it was the squirrel where they did the motion. And so they had all the action coming right. I actually forget who the play was now too, but they had the action motion going right, and Brew was coming back on a slant, and Chris was wide open. Did you remember that? It was like one of those where they did a motion with Brew or the tight end, and so it got the linebackers and the safety to be coming this way. We completed the pass down the field. I think, that was the Brew shot. That was what it was. The one that Brew caught and got his yak to get down there for the field goal. They brought motion, and it brought those safeties down. And even if he had not wanted to go there, he had Chris coming on one. So I just loved how that motion affected the 2 linebackers and that backside safety. Sorry, you already talked about it.
Yeah, no, you're good. Okay, so Dante scores. Next drive. This is sack fumble, where we get the ball back. JJ gets it back for us. But on this sack fumble, Dane. So what happened on this play, for people out there who are like, what the fuck's going on, is Dane is setting. I mean, listen, I understand. People were out there going like, why is no one getting blocked, right? Dane is setting, and instead of committing to picking up a man, he is thinking, wait, should I get this most outside guy? Or wait, should I get this inside guy? Or outside or inside? Outside or inside? He gets in no man's land and gets nobody. What that does is confuse Dylan Sampson. He confused the running back because Dylan goes out there as like hey, Dylan, you get the guy on the edge, okay? Whoever comes off the edge, you get, right? That's like what his teaching point is. Dylan's like, all right, perfect. Got you. I got you. Anything outside of the tackle, I got you. Then Dane sits there and looks like he's about to pick him up, and then there might be another blitzer inside. And Dylan goes, all right, well, Dane, if you're going to go out there, I'll come inside and help because that's what I'm here for. That's not my A, but my B role. And then Dane second guesses, goes back inside. The guy comes off the edge unblocked. No one touches him. Sack fumble on Nico as he's about to take another shot. So it's things like that where you don't necessarily think, hey, Dane Davis is a huge drop-off when it comes to a second string. He's not, technically. But when it comes to athleticism and experience and little tangibles, it can make a difference. And there's a lot of stuff later on with Larry where I'm just watching him. I'm like, whew, like did not go the right way. Did not block down when he was supposed to. Didn't realize he was supposed to pull and then pulled late and it still worked out somehow. And it's just little things like that's why I put handcuffed, because we don't have Lance and we don't have John in there the entire time. And there is a difference between ones and twos. That's why there are ones and twos.
Me one, you half.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
SEC. Sorry.
I thought that it was really well done by that safety, the way that he timed it, and maybe that had something to do with Dane's second guessing, which all it takes is 1 second of second guessing. But I'm glad that you explained it that way. As I go through my notes on the one where the guy was in no man's land that I was telling you about, and I don't know the rules to this, but Cooper's standing there. And you see Cooper like almost notice that guy's there, but he doesn't go out for him. And he stays, which is beautiful that he stayed because they had a looper coming right around, which would have been right coming straight at Nico, which would have prevented the throw to Dante. And I forgot to mention that. So I love that Cooper, which obviously he's a savvy vet. He's not going to go chase somebody. But I feel like, which I didn't play it, but I feel like that would be really tough for you guys to see someone there thinking like, whoa, but then if you go and chase, that's when you're in trouble because something's usually coming right back. But I forgot to mention that too. I don't have anything else to say.
The line is the ultimate definition of passive aggression.
Yeah, isn't that true? That's a great way to put it. I don't have anything else on that because you mentioned and brought it up well.
Yeah. I always like to explain that stuff to people, especially on big sacks, so they kind of understand more about the game. And
we wouldn't have gotten to that strip sack, unfortunately. I love the getting out to the right, and Ethan Davis was open, and unfortunately, Nico's not perfect. He's really good.
He missed some balls today.
He did.
I mean, some rollouts where I don't know if that one got tipped, but it kind of hit the dirt at Brazel's feet.
Yeah,
the one to Ethan Davis you just mentioned. There was another one to Brazel that he didn't hit on a rollout over his head. So he had some misses. You know what? Overall arching theme of this game, which is great, is we won this game, but it feels like a loss, and it feels like there's a lot of work to be done.
It feels like
no one is satisfied.
It feels like a loss in certain ways when you go back to look at film, meaning it feels like there's a lot that we could have done better.
Yeah. So guys aren't going to be satisfied going into the bye week, even though they won a big game.
Yeah. Continue.
Let's see. Next drive.
Oh gosh. I
got pullers missing their blocks. They can't find them. They're coming around. They're not hitting anybody. So running back gets hit.
This is the up and
now they run a stunt on the next play, and Bishop gets 9 yards out of it. This stunt, in a way, opens up running lanes because it gives a clear picture to the offensive line where everybody's going, right? Hey, I'm blocking this way. You're going this way. Now everybody's flowing this way. It's like almost more of a clear picture than the muddy water frog kind of stance where they all just sit there in this same spot. and you're like, wait, there's no movement happening. So he gets 9, and then D Lyman gets hurt. DeJoun Terry with the payback coming to Tennessee with his cramps a few times, which was not enjoyable. But we bring in 2 tight ends. I absolutely love it when we do it. And Bishop bangs ahead for 7 yards. Great run. And it hasn't been stopped yet. I mean, honestly, I haven't seen it be stopped in any of the games we played. When we go 2 tight ends in the backfield, we use them as lead blockers.
Heavy package, heavy.
Let's see. Hitch to Dante. We'll take it. We'll get some yak out. We'll get some, 5, 6, 7 yards. Safety's still playing really high up. The pitch to Bishop, I absolutely love that play set up.
The speed option?
No, the pitch.
Oh, yeah,
where he just pitches it straight out to him. He's got some lead blockers. John Campbell pulls. Cooper pulls. He makes the safety miss. He does a great job. Makes his lead blockers right. There's a coverage sack on this next one. Nico's holding it for a while. I still, even though it is a technical coverage sack because of the time, I still need John Campbell and Spraggins to do a better job holding their blocks. I don't need you guys getting push-pulled or missing John Campbell. I expect higher than you, right? Your play has brought your expectations up here, okay? That was a down here play, okay? I need better. I need more time for Nico, okay? I know you gave him 3 seconds. Give him 5. See what happens. This is one where Nico misses Braz on the dig. It's in a lot of coverage. There's a lot of guys there. So I don't know what it looked like from the back. I wish they would have shown that. But it was good pass pro. He had time. He had what he needed. And then we attempt a screen to squirrel. And when we try this screen later also, it is very difficult for these tackles to get out and get to where they need to make a block. There's nobody out there for him. Squirrel just gets crushed. So I think there needs to be some coaching or technique change in how this gets set up. That could be as easy as selling the pass more in your stance as a tackle or in how you approach it. There's multiple different things, but it needs to be worked on if we're going to actually try it, because every time we did it, tackles were not able to get out to block. So that was a 3rd down. Let's see. Then we punt them deep, get the safety. Squirrel falls on the kick return, so now we're back in our own end zone again. John Campbell gets hurt and breaks a dude's leg on the same play. Which was rough to see. Play action passes open. Nico gets tackled in the open field. It's set up for play action pass for Nico to be in the open field to make a decision whether to throw or to run. Guy makes a tackle in the open field. It's a pretty damn good tackle. Those are one of those things where it's like, that's a good defense, right? That's a good defensive play.
He made 2 guys fall on the first possession of the game. This one, they make the tackle.
Yeah, I would want that scenario as a Tennessee fan and watcher. I want my quarterback, Nico Iamaleava, out on the edge.
It's Nico Iamaleava. Get it right.
Good job. Out on the edge with options to throw and run. And they made a good play. And then John Campbell just got hurt 2 plays later. Larry Johnson is in the game. It is 3rd and 6. Okay? We are backed up. What does Heupel do? He runs the fucking ball down the middle. Okay? He runs the ball down the middle. Their safeties come up, making a 9-man box. They make a tackle. We punt. Does anyone think that Josh Heupel doesn't know what he's fucking doing? Or does he think, wow, I'm down to my third string tackle here. I'm not going to pass the ball, when I saw him get his ass whooped versus Kent State and get my quarterback killed? I'm going to run the ball here on third down. Sorry, we are going to punt. I apologize, but that's what's going to happen because we're going to play smart football. Okay? We're going to play with what we got. So we run the ball, punt on fourth. And it sucks, but it's fine. Okay? We're figuring this out. All right? Next drive. Bad drive by Dane. Bad drive by Dane. Start with that.
Hold on. This my thing. So I always write defense and then my notes under it. Then I go offense. This says offense. Dane Davis, or I said Dane drive. LOL.
Bad drive by Dane.
Okay. He whiffed on a pull and then he got beat on an up and under. That up and under was a plain
First play,
beating.
Dane pulls, absolutely whiffs, like falls on his face, doesn't touch a soul, tackle at the line of scrimmage. We then try and run a screen out to the left. Larry's trying to get out, doesn't. Cooper, you see him after the play going, what the fuck are you? Where the hell were you? Like, you see Cooper yelling at Larry, like, why in the heck were you not out there to block? And then the third play, Dane's pass setting. He kicks. If you go back and watch, I hope you guys enjoy this breakdown, okay? Because I'm doing the full fucking thing. If you go back and watch, Dane's first kick step, he kicks up like he's going back, and all of a sudden he gets nervous, and that foot rounds back in and lands right where it was when he fucking first started, okay? That is someone who does not trust his set and who already thinks he's beat and thinks, I need to get my foot down on the ground immediately and turn. And this guy beat himself before that guy beat him. Okay? Doesn't trust his set. His foot literally goes up and looks like it's going to go back and then just goes right back down where it was. The guy dips down underneath him, beats him around the edge, another sack fumble. So that is 2 on Dane for this game. Dane should not be happy with himself after this game. He should be very upset and see a lot of things he can improve on. And hopefully he does not let that kill him, but make him stronger, because we will need him eventually. Or hell, maybe in 2 weeks. I don't know. Here is where we start to show some heart here. This is the run. This is the drive before the half. Heupel understands where he's at right now. He's got 2 backup tackles, but he still needs to run this damn football and show who he is. So we put a whole drive together running the ball.
Let me say this too. And tell me if I'm right or wrong, but if you've got, but besides not wanting to put Larry and Dane in pass pro, those guys want to lean on people. They want to move forward. Larry's a massive individual. Dane's not small. It is easier for him to say, hey, guys, we're going to move forward and we're going to punch someone in the mouth. Now, granted, he's thinking, if I get you pulling, I hope you hit somebody. But it's easier to run than it is to pass pro for these guys, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
That's definitely true.
Great. By the way, before you jump back in it, this drive with the spin and the individual effort by Dylan is incredible. And it's the 3rd and 5. It's the 3rd and 5, the play call of the game, maybe. And I know you love it. I love it. But I'm going to tell you what I even love more about it, that he went wide side of the field with 3 dudes, let some thought be over there. I'm going short side where there's only one receiver, let that receiver run him off, and let me get Dylan out there with not many people.
Exactly. Just running the ball. There's some misses that I can call out. I love a 2 tight end backfield. O-line just inside zone, and then 2 tight ends lead. Like that's just what it is. Able to get good yardage off of that. Keeping them in there, just loaded versus 8-man boxes. This drive, actually, there's a play where Dylan ends up getting about 7 yards on it. And it is if you watch it, you can slow it down and see Larry pulls around and leads up on a guy. You go, okay, Larry, yeah, you made a good block right there. You go back and watch it. His first 2 steps, he had no idea what he was doing. Literally had no idea. His first 2 steps went forward, and he was like, I was supposed to pull. And then he goes. And it was just slowly developing enough to where he was able to get over there and make a block. It's insane. It is insane how lucky we were on that play.
I did not notice that. I wouldn't.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Nobody else does. I'm telling you. Offensive linemen notice it. Nobody else does.
Yeah.
Dylan continues to make man's miss. Speed option on 3rd and 5 we already talked about. Dylan, this is where it gets later in the game. Dylan makes a man miss in the hole, right? Number 10 is unblocked, coming up. Dylan makes him miss in the hole. He gains 15 yards. He gets down to the 1-yard line. That is, hey, we're leaning on you. Hey, we're putting a lot of pressure on you. Hey, you've been coming and running, and now you're tired. And then for the touchdown, Dylan spins off a tackle that Larry should have been blocking. You are not supposed to block the outside man. It is more the inside man is more dangerous. So, Larry, please step inside. Thank you very much. I swear, if I was an offensive line coach, I'd be literally reading this shit off like this with my laser pointer. Larry, do you see this man right here? Do you think he is more dangerous or he is more dangerous? Tell me. Ding, 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 ding. That is correct. Step inside, you dumb son of a bitch. And that's halftime. So we got a touchdown before half. 19-3.
Let me say this.
Puts us in a great spot.
19-3. You feel great. You have an entire second half of football. And I'm sitting here thinking I couldn't feel any better about where we are.
Yeah.
That drive right there, we may, depending on how the season goes forward, but we may look back and be like, oh, that was the drive of the season because of who your personnel is. And the Heupel's like, all right, I got to run it, but he gives you a couple nice design runs. He hits you with the speed option, and then you're supposed to have their best defensive line or their best linebacker who's upset that he wasn't, a Butkus nominee. He's right in the hole. He has a chance to make the tackle, and Dylan wins the one-on-one battle.
Yeah. In the second half.
Let me say something real quick.
Just to move things along, calling out anything.
Kyler, let me say just like 2 things real quick, and then I'm done on offense. On the 3rd and 5, it was so easy, pitch and catch to Ethan. I was happy to see that. Like, hey, we need that. 3rd and 5 is a big possession here. Let's just run an out route to our talented tight end. He's got a big body, easy pitch and catch. On that 2nd and 14, I love the eyes downfield by Nico. And I love that Dante Thornton caught it, got upfield, and he had a chance where there was 2 guys there that he can either try to truck one of them, juke one of them, or go out of bounds. And he tried to truck someone. Now, if you try to juke someone, I'm fine with that too. I was watching a game, and I tried really, really hard to remember if it was pro or college. But I saw this running or this receiver, decent-sized guy. He's probably one of these slot guys. It's 5'9", 5'10", 180 pounds. So he's not little, but he catches like 1 or 2 or 3 in a row on one drive. And he catches one, and he goes up, and he runs, and he gets a 25-yard gain, and he takes himself out of bounds as the DB starts coming in. And he gets out of bounds, and he goes, ah! And he like does the slime first down. I said, hey, come here. Let me tell you something. You just went out of bounds. What are you celebrating? Like, what are you celebrating? Like, if you're going to be a dog, if you're a badass, like, make another juke. Like this is the first or second quarter. We're not saving time. This isn't a 2-minute drill. And so that's one of my pet peeves of college football. And when I saw Dante do that, I said, thank goodness. Because if Dante had ran out of bounds there, I was just like, bro, this is a principle thing. And I wish I knew who that loser was that did that, but it was like, bro, you're a clown. You're celebrating, and you literally just ran out of bounds, and you look like you know what I want to say.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking second half if there's anything I want to pull out. I loved the second drive that we had in the second half, 2 tight ends for extra blockers. We run the ball. We hurry up. Next play, Max protects, hit Brew down the sideline in a one-on-one. Diving out there. It's a great catch.
Great catch. Great catch. That's a winning football catch. And the only other thing is it's 3rd and 7. I understand why we run it there. You maybe catch them off guard, but you run it, you kick the field goal, and you go to a 3-possession game. Because technically it was at 16 at that point. So 2 tutties and two 2-point conversions. Listen, the way we're eating on defense, just kick the field goal, make it a 3-possession game. That's what we did. We walked in your palace and took over your palace. I'm done.
That's right.
You say anything else you want to say?
Okay, I'll just go into it. I liked the way Nico finished the game, picking up that big 3rd down to run the clock out. That was big. I thought he had a lot of composure for a freshman in his first big road test. So shout out to Nico. I really liked the way that he played the game and the way he worked with Heupel and how they were like, hey, we're adjusting now. Okay, we got some things that are handcuffing us. This is how we're going to play this, and we're going to lean on our defense and trust them. As we go into the bye week, we got to get healthy. Okay, to be able to keep this up. And as we go into the bye week, shout out to all the fans out there. If you're still listening, 1 hour and 51 minutes into it, please comment on the YouTube page next week. We're going to go through the comments over the past 4 games. We're going to answer any questions you guys might have, try and, break down any specific plays you want us to talk about, do anything like that for next week just because, don't have a game. So want to be able to have something to talk about. So will you guys please do that? And then, biggest goals of the bye week, just get everybody healthy, get everybody rested, and then work on those mistakes you saw in this game, because there were plenty on offense and on defense that it's like, hey, here's something I can work on. Hey, here's something I can do better. And we can grow from this. So very, very happy that we are 4-0 through the first quarter of the season.
You said it. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, brother. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Like I said, want to see those comments. If you're just listening, rate, review, download, and re-download. Follow us on all those listening platforms. Also follow us on social media at Pancakes and Bacon for our main account on Twitter, at Pancakes and Bacon _RTI on Instagram. If you want to follow Reed, it's just at rbacon26 on Twitter for him. And then myself is just at Kyler Kerberson on all social media. So check me out there. Just really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for being the best fans in the world. And as always, go Vols.